Hello friends, I'm Crystal and today I'll be sharing how I made my memory books. I'm making these for my friends' graduation gifts so that they can have something to remember high school by. The first thing we'll need to do is grab our supplies. You don't need as many supplies as I do. I've just gathered all of these over the years. Some different color pieces of paper, some pens, and a few markers will do just fine. I like to use cardstock as a base because it's sturdier and gives the gift a more substantial feel. It's just not as flimsy. I was running low on cardstock, so I went and ordered a huge stack of it. It should last me at least 10 years, I'd say. I also bought these Tombow Fudennosuke brush pens. I hope I pronounced that right. But these are the first modern calligraphy pens that I bought. I do have the traditional calligraphy pen with the metal nib and you have to dip it in ink to use. But you have to use special paper for that, wait for the ink to dry. It's just not as convenient. So I am super excited to try these. So let's get some unboxing action here. So first I'm going to be trying the soft tip one. And now for the hard tip one. Next, we need to decide which design and format we want. I like to use Pinterest for inspiration and screenshot the ones that look interesting so they'll be easier to look for later. Here are some of the ones I use as reference. It is also a good idea to choose a certain theme and color scheme so the memory book will look uniform and flow better. I decided to go with a plant theme and each friend had a different color scheme. Here's my rough draft of what I plan to do. If you would like to learn how to make nice and affordable art like the ones in these memory books, I have tips about how to color with Crayola markers in my previous video. Pictures are unarguably an important part of memory books. First, we need to decide which pictures to use. I had some group pictures as well as individual pictures, so I made a checklist of how many of each I needed to print out. After choosing our pictures, we shall apply filters on them in the Lightroom app because a lot of these pictures could really use some better lighting. I've never tried making my own filters before, so it took a lot of YouTube videos and trial and error to figure it out. I even made some of my own presets, which were not very good, and I made so many of them that I ran out of names to call them. My names weren't even that creative to start with. My favorite presets ended up being I Don't Know Anymore and I Don't Know Anymore Too. Here are some before and afters. Then I organized the pictures into collages by using the Live Collage app so that the pictures would be printed out in 2-inch squares on a regular 4x6 picture sheet. I ordered my photos from Walgreens and managed to get 50% off my photos by using a coupon. I don't buy things very often, but when I do, you bet that I'm looking for a coupon for it. And then after I sent my order online, I went to go pick them up. Since there are 4 pictures on each sheet, we will need to grab some sharp cutters, more commonly known as scissors, to cut each of them out. Those are my 2 cousins saying hi. Guys, my room is an absolute mess. This is my table for the artwork. And then we have more things over here for the gifts. And then we have this shelf thing that I'm trying to build. And we have these books for pressing the flowers. That's my laundry basket. Oh wait, don't forget my bed. There's a ton of photos over there. If you have watched my past videos, you might recognize these flowers as the ones from my graduation bouquets. I've been pressing them for a couple of weeks and I want to show them off to you guys. They didn't turn out quite as colorful as I was hoping them to. Some of them grew their own mold colonies because they were too thick to be pressed. I knew that was going to happen from the beginning, but I had to try anyways just in case it actually did work. Then I added the flowers into the memory books. So now my friends have both real and fake drawn flowers to symbolize that my love for them is authentic and undying. Now it is finally time to assemble the memory books. This step involves a lot of slicing, sticking, and thinking. I had to change some of my initial designs based on how many pictures I had, but I loved how each of them turned out to the point where I was tempted to keep them for myself. Luckily, one of my friends also had the same idea of making memory books, so I ended up having one as well. Thank you, Fiona!
Are you cold? Do you want to sit down? I've been here a million times, so I know my way around.
put the papers into these Samso sheet protectors in order to attach them to these folders with metal prongs that I bought from Target. For the finishing touches, I made little to and from cards to stick onto the top corner of the folders. I also decided to give each of them a little plushie. I actually made these based off of the Divergent factions for a math board game project when I was in 7th grade, so about 6 years ago, and I have come to the conclusion that it is finally time for me to part with them. Before sending them off to the real world, I turned them into personalized keychains with the help of some keychains, a needle, some embroidery string, clear tape, a pen, some markers, a hole puncher, scissors, and some cardstock. Then I punched a hole into the cardstock, wrote their names, cut out the names, and covered them in tape to protect them. Afterwards, I hole punched the tape in the same place as the cardstock, and then sewed the keychain and the name onto the plushie. After wrapping them with some tissue paper and adding a small note, our personalized keychain plushies are completed. And here are the final products. I blurred them a bit because I don't want other people reading my deep and private letters. Memory books make great gifts because they're thoughtful, visually appealing, full of memories, obviously, and they're not too expensive. Each memory book ended up costing me about $6. The only downside is that it is very time consuming. I spent over a month working on these, or about 150 hours. It mainly took that long because of the sheer amount of artwork I put into each of them, but every minute, leaf, and flower was worth it because it was for my friends. Now is the time I test my ability as a mail woman. And I have learned that this is not the right career for me. I cannot drive around all day, my butt gets numb. Also, I forgot to record dropping one of them off.
Really set up a camera out there. I'm eating my rice.
Whisper softly your sweet empathy.
And that is my tutorial on how to make memory books. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!